meet his Waterloo.
Yeah.
You know, he will meet his Waterloo. Because what is going on is just unacceptable, okay? But last night spoke volumes.
Yes.
It spoke volumes for what has been going on.
Yeah.
And hopefully St. Lucia will accept the information provided last night as a reality to understand the nature of the individual.
Yeah. Now, St. Lucia, I want you to pay attention. I have the diagram here or the map on my phone. If you look at the reddish or the pinkish spot here on lot 415, so Michael told you that is 20,000 square feet has been taken. Further down, look at that little strip here. It's just like a boardwalk or a footpath of 463 square feet. What are your intentions with that 463 square feet? I heard that you had asked the government not to move the road slightly.
I tried to explain to the engineers, it may not have been quite necessary to come, but they explained it was necessary. Yeah. But I want to say one thing to St. Lucia. Whatever land is taken there, I'm not even charging the government.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
So you make a
donate that to the government.
Oh my goodness!
Because it's something that has to be done for a cause.
Oh right.
I don't need a few bucks.
How much money you think it would amount? How much would it amount to that 460?
Maybe 40,000 bucks.
40,000
on the market.
40,000.
Yeah, but you see, Champagne, I got to say something to you. I bought that land 36 years ago. I didn't buy it at the time for what it was worth then. My foresight was that I purchased this land with a view one day, as Norbert explained. Rodney Bay is an up-and-coming area. You have a big development going in next door, which is on the Pope side here.
Yes.
And this Rodney Bay area is going to become a city. And I wanted to be part of it. I had the foresight to know that one day somebody would develop
And
it.
at that time, it was nowhere close to the development it is
Nothing
today.
at all.
Nothing. 36 years ago, it's a long time ago. It was a long time ago.
Right? And if you take what I invested 36 years ago, right, and I earned no interest on my money for 36 years, but I had confidence in St. Lucia that one day Rodney Bay will be, that is why I put the supermarket, I saw Rodney Heights supermarket, because I saw the potential. And although many people fought me on that, today, look at what it's doing for the people in the area. How many people are going to go there? You have a supermarket, you have an international school, which I brought to St. Lucia, I helped bring here to St. Lucia, 90 students, that's been going on for 18 years now, where they get a top-class education, okay? At the back, adjacent to the property, what do we have? We have 3 call centers, okay, where over 400 people are working, okay? You have West Tech, okay? You have nice offices. All that was done to help St. Lucia, okay? And to invest. Let me tell you something, Champagne. When I left St. Lucia as a young man, I went to Puerto Rico in the United States. Every single cent I earned, I brought back to St. Lucia.
Every cent?
Yeah. Came back to St. Lucia. I didn't take any money from St. Lucia. I took money from what I made.
And that is important. That is important.
And I want to say something to you, Champagne. I built 3 shopping centers and several warehouses in St. Lucia. I never got 1 cent in concessions from any government.
Not a penny?
Nothing. Everything, all the materials duty paid, I pay my taxes, I pay property, I get no concessions at all. But there are certain individuals in St. Lucia, I'm not going to call it, who have made investments, which I will discuss when the time is right, that have got full concessions under bogus conditions. But that will come at a later date. But I just want to tell St. Lucia, I have not bled St. Lucia, I've only put money in St. Lucia.
Oh, you have invested your money.
I want to say one other thing to you, Champagne. When we took over the supermarket, tell me one business in St. Lucia that you know that has made shareholders.
None.
I created 250 staff members. 250 staff members of Massey's are shareholders in Massey today.
That is brilliant.
Yeah.
That is brilliant.
The people who are criticizing me, what have they done? We have a shopping center at Sunny Acres. Go and see for yourself. See how many vendors are allowed to come in there to make a living.
Now, Sir Michael, I know you're not worried with those statements because you have been there. You have been in business 65 years. That is a long time. Before some of the people that are criticizing you were even born.
Yeah.
And that don't bother you. I know it don't bother you. I know you're a well-level-headed individual. But something, you know, you cannot let that just go out there in the public without making any statements on it. You said this property, that little strip of land, is, in your estimation, about $40,000.
Yeah, yeah.
And then now you're saying you have donated it to the
Correct.
government, so you're not looking for a check.
Yeah, if the government takes it, I'm not going to demand any money from
Is
them.
there any way that you could pass that on to Champagne, that 40,000?
I can make it, that's a good, at least half.
I would love that. So, St. Lucia, you've heard it from Mr. Chasney. The little strip that has been spoken about on a particular program a couple of weeks, I think last week, here it is, once again, 460 square feet of land for the development of the road expansion up there in the Rodney Bay area. So Michael has just indicated that that has been donated to the government. He's not expecting a check. Mr. Peter, I will get to you in 2 minutes because we want to stay on Sir Michael just for a little bit. The Vidbutai road construction or expansion from the VG roundabout all the way to the Shock roundabout, that was built during the Labour Party's time.
Correct.
You owned a lot of property in the, what's the name of that?
Sunny
area?
Acres.
Sunny Acres area. And a lot of land was taken from your property to build those things. You want to elaborate a little bit on what transpired there?
Champagne,
I mean, you have nothing to lose.
The Labour Party found it hard-pressed to even pay me for the land they took from me. Okay?
How much land was taken? In your, if you could remember.
In value, $1.5 million.
Million?
That's right, $1.5 million. And that, you know how that money came up? That is an assessment made by the St. Lucia government at the time. I didn't put any, they put the value.
They put the value.
They said that is the value of the land, that's what we owe you. And declined to pay me any money for it.
You didn't get a check?
Yeah, here's what they did. They still pay. They pay on a yearly basis, okay? They'll take 12 to 13 years to pay for it. So I never really saw any money because when that money goes in the pot, okay? And worse than that, Champagne, what they did to me, they took all the water from Sunny Acres, with an underdrain, and threw it on my property, and they promised to put what they call a tow drain on my property. And they flooded my property and cost me a lot of money to fix it. And it's not even 100% fixed yet.
So you had to fix that on your own, or they did?
There was the Minister of Communications and Works under the SLP.
Calix George on time?
No, tall, slim guy.
Oh, you don't Finisterre? Not Finisterre?
Finisterre.
Finisterre, yes.
I can show you a letter from Finisterre where he wrote me and said, we take responsibility to address the problem. It was never done. And tell you something, for St. Lucia's sake, I just left that alone. I don't have time to waste, okay?
My goodness.
So you know something? So that
$1.5 million.
$1.5 million, you know? So anyway, you know, these are the things that go on in life, Champagne, and what can I say about it?
We could stay on and on this, but let me go over to our brother Josie. You want to make a statement on what we just discussed, Brother Peter?
What I want to say is what I want every St. Lucian listening to ask. I mean, who is Michael Chasney? Why all of a sudden Michael Chasney is so important? I used to see Michael Chasney 50 years, no, more than 50, about 60 years ago, on the wharf with a catapult on his feet, short pants, using his muscles. He's a very strong fellow, you know, even at that age. Using his muscles with some hired hands from Conway, okay? Loading his boats on the Castries thing, the Northern Wharf, or Queen Elizabeth Wharf, as they now call it, to go and drop rice and flour and stuff in Soufrière and in the villages on the West Coast. Nobody knew Michael Chasney then or cared about him. The man, I remember when I left with St. Mary's College boys to go to Grenada for the very first time in my life, I'm living in St. Lucia, to go and represent St. Mary's College at an inter-schools tournament. We left under Michael David. Had taken him to the point where he loved boats so much, himself and his brother built a boat. And that's what we went to Grenada on. I won't tell you who vomited before they left the harbor, the Castries harbor. Yeah? So the question is, why all of a sudden, you know, he's so important? He is because he has built himself, and people believe that there's nobody with more money than him. But you know something? People who really have money and who have worked for it, they respect
Oh,
money.
yes. They earned
They
it.
don't throw away money.
That's right.
But guess what? They respect money so much that you will never believe that they have money. And that is the difference I've seen, not with Sir Michael only. Anybody I've read about, Leon Hess, for example. I got to know Leon Hess quite well. He invited me to his townhouse in Manhattan to have breakfast with him and his wife. These guys live very simple life. I've been to Sir Michael's home several mornings
Yes.
at 7:30. And if I tell you what he has for breakfast, you'll tell me I lie. You know, you see how slim and trim he looks? But there are people who don't have any money, but they eat like pigs
They want steak. They want
on
steak.
mornings.
Yeah.
Not only steak, three legs of chicken, so many for breakfast. I mean, come on, guys. And these guys are the ones who want to criticize and be jealous of people with money.
Yeah, yeah. So,
As far as I am concerned, I said that this morning I called Norbert Williams' show, and I said how happy I was that Norbert explained, and he came, the whole television screen showed the picture
Yes.
of the plan for the roundabout.
Right.
And the way he explained it, and I saw the little piece of land that they took from Sir Michael Shastney, compared to what they took from the other spot,
Exactly.
415.
Exactly.
But right away you ask yourself, so why did the person given the information dwell on that? And more than that, who gave him that information? Where is this guy getting the source of this information? That is something we have to speak about too.
Yeah, we do.
You know, you go to a bank, you do your business, somebody who is nothing to you, an imposter who is looking to benefit from trying to destroy you, the bank gives him information. Whether he pays for it or not, it's wrong.
It is wrong.
And that to me is as important as whether they took 400 square feet or 1,000 square feet. You understand what I'm saying? There should be some businesses that are confidential between the bank or between the government and the person
And the
executing the
individual.
business.
That is right. Very
If
right.
not, this is worse than a banana republic. You understand? And the St. Lucia in which I grew up and trying to see if, when I came on a platform, could make it better. That is the St. Lucia I would like to see evolve. And that is the reason we have to continue putting hell on people like that who come on and say things, you know, as if because they went to university, somehow they get a few dollars in their pocket, their voices are more important. And I have said what I had to say. I have nothing more to say about people like that.
Yeah.
Because this morning, I promised last week to come with my black suit, my black tie and white shirt. But I know Sir Michael was not going to come in a suit.
Yes.
So to show you the kind of person I am, I didn't wear any suit because I don't want to look better.
Outshine me. And you've been outshining me lately.
I don't want to outshine him, right?
Yeah.
So, listen, this is Holy Week for me,
Yeah.
and that is one of the things I came to discuss, the life of Jesus Christ and the example we could get from that life. I'm not a born-again anything. I keep saying that at every opportunity. But Jesus Christ lived. He had enemies even among his own tribe and people. They plotted with the Romans who were in charge of their country because Rome was a huge empire, the Roman Empire. They even crucified him. Michael, who are you,
Who am I?
Champagne, or
Yeah.
who am I?
And remember we
to
said
feel
that this
that
morning.
we will not have people
Exactly.
who hate us and want to crucify us.
Peter, I'm going to mention
Exactly.
something to you. I was asked to be a director of the Bank of St. Lucia before it grew to anything at all. It was in the old Barnard building in an old warehouse. That's where we started.
Yes.
I became the vice chairman of the bank and a director for almost 13 to 14 years. Okay? We're the ones at the time under our
Leadership.
should I say, board who coaxed and brought the bank where it was.
The Bank of St. Lucia.
Bank of St. Lucia.
I know that. I know
Yeah.
that.
Now, you want to know something, Champagne? While I was a director of that bank, I got several calls from people abroad who wanted to invest or put money in the bank. You know the first question? how confidential is that bank? If I put my money there, are they going to air it?
Yes.
And I convinced so many people that it was a good bank and the place to invest, okay? I'm a St. Lucian. We have a lot of foreign banks here. The first bank I would want to have is Bank of St.
The Bank of St. Lucia, that is right.
I put a lot of my investments in St. Lucia, did many things with them, okay? Brought the bank. And all I'm trying to say today, all that good work and hard work that we did is being destroyed by people, young people who come today. I want to send a clear message to St. Lucians. Whether you're working at a bank or whether you're working in government, you must have a level of decorum.
That's
you
right.
cannot take people's business and publicize
That's
that.
right.
It is not right. You would not want them to do it to you, so don't do it to
That is
others,
right.
okay? If I wanted people to know if I'm going to make an investment, it is my right to go out on a TV and say, look at me, I'm going to invest so many $1 million here, or I'm going to put a property there, or I'm going to buy some land here. I don't need a clerk, an employee at any department in the government or the bank to divulge information. It is not right.
It is not
It
right.
is simply not right.
No,
okay?
it is not.
You would not want people to do that to you, so please don't do it. But what I'm trying to say, they have now found a conduit to relay these
filter these
messages
things, yeah.
and to publicize
Yeah,
it.
yeah.
And what that individual doesn't write, the show he has every week, he's just making a spectacle of himself. There are people that tune on for laughs, yeah? And you laugh at somebody else's expense. It is not the right thing to do, Champagne.
But here's the thing, some people may risking their jobs and putting their lives in trouble for disseminating information to certain people, trying to get some confidential information and bringing it out to these
Correct,
people,
yeah.
even if they're paid or not. This is really not something that people should be doing.
And it makes the island look so bad,
Cheap.
unprofessional,
Yeah.
cheap.
Correct, yeah.
And
Yeah.
they always, these days, as a big thing since the pandemic, always comparing to Barbados and
Yes.
things, so, you know.
Talking about that, you see all last week or a couple weeks ago, remember what they said? Oh, St. Lucia has now become the back door for Martinique. Martinique has 700 new
yes,
cases.
new
from
cases.
But
But-
and not a word.
Not a
Not
word,
a
no
word.
one is saying.
Not a word.
Not a word.
So, Michael,
Yeah.
this is what it is. These
Yeah.
guys are always putting on. I saw the representative for Castries South last night. He looked very calm. He looked
Very.
subdued.
Yeah.
And the first thing he started by saying that the government should have thought their positions out instead of changing the different times. My own view was that in fact, I said so last week or week before, that the Easter weekend is coming and the government had to review its 9 o'clock curfew.
Right.
It had to, knowing our people as we do.
Yeah.
But guess what? After he had criticized the government,
Now,
he sheepishly said,
yeah.
obey the curfew.
Can you believe
Why
it?
didn't you say that
Months ago.
first thing? And you know, all the problems we have had, let me take this back. Most of the problems we have had with the spread of this disease is because the people received mixed messages from their political leadership.
That's right.
The Prime Minister said one thing, he went to Barbados to a meeting. The only Labour Party who came to a meeting and said, boy, this thing looks like it's going to work. We have it under control. That was the guy in Denver. Sean, when he heard the
Yeah.
meeting, when he was at the meeting with the CM.
He said it was world class.
Yeah. After that, the leader came and said something else, that Shastri went to Barbados, he didn't attend. A lie. A lie. An irresponsible lie. How can you say that the leader of the country went to Barbados to attend a meeting that had to do with how the islands were going to face this pandemic together and come back and say the Prime Minister wasn't there, when you know he was there?
Anyway.
Now, these mixed signals, up to now, these mixed signals are messing up our country. Martinique had Carnival. And sometimes, you know, I don't want to insult the French or hurt anybody's feelings and things. But sometimes I wonder what part of the St. Lucia culture, because you see, we have the French pulling one way, the British and English pulling another way. The French language, English language. We created our own Creole. Sometimes I wonder which is the one that is more negatively pulling us backwards, whether it's the French, the one who invented the Creole, or the English. Sometimes I wonder.
And we also must also remember that match We should never get it out of our minds.
Definitely, you're 100%
That
right.
much is never supposed to get out of
Mixed
the minds of
messages
St.
again.
Lucia.
The
that is-
mixed messages again.
Exactly. In the middle of the coronavirus. So Michael, before you go to your preamble, let me show St. Lucia what is on the front page of the Voice newspaper. And I remember a few weeks ago I mentioned that the Voice
I haven't
newspaper
seen it.
had gotten very, very thin in terms of pages, and apparently it feels a little heavier. So apparently,
Although this is midweek, eh?
yeah, midweek. So they
Last
probably
week they
heard me.
celebrated 135 years.
Yes, yes. So they probably heard me, and they're doing a good job. It says increased curfew hours for Easter, and for those of you who have not seen the front page of the newspaper. And then what's interesting to me here, it says new date set for second COVID-19 dose. Remember, India,
Yeah.
they had held back on the exportation
And what
of
is
the
the new
vaccine.
date? What is
They
the new date?
basically
So,
say what
so,
I told you. You
so
can do
we
it
have it
for
here
the
on. So the
second
Voice
one, yeah.
newspaper at the moment they're doing a good job, and my friend down there, the CEO, he probably listened to me or he probably heard me.
Yeah.
So Michael, I realized you had a little mishap. You had a,
There's not
Champagne.
much.
Champagne. Take my advice, my friend. Don't
Yeah.
let this go to your head.
Now I want to say something to you. I'm not going to go into much of a preamble today,
Okay.
Because I think it's Easter weekend,
Right.
and there are a couple areas that I want to touch on with my partner and yourself.
Yeah.
Things that just happened only yesterday. You know, I could not believe, Champagne, when I put on my television station last night, I saw Philip here making a statement
Oh, yeah.
about the Cabot lands.
Yes.
You know, I sat in my chair and I just held the side to make sure I wouldn't fall.
Yeah.
I cannot believe that a gentleman who's supposed to have a degree in economics or accountancy could talk such garbage.
Oh, yeah, a lot of nonsense.
It has to be garbage, Champagne. You know, this guy is now saying that NIC should have bought
Bought
the
the
land,
building, yeah.
okay,
Bought the
and
land.
they would have made $200 million
Yes.
profit.
Yeah.
Is this man for real? Is it, when it,
He said 50 million,
you
I
know
think.
something? It is staring Philip Pierre in his face what happened to Blue Coral. They could not even manage Blue Coral.
No.
I was shocked. I heard a guy call last night. I have to check what the man said is correct. That NIC and the government lost $4 million
$4
in the
million,
Blue Coral.
that's right.
Now again, going back to Michael Chasney again, you see the nonsense that goes on? What did I do? I started a little supermarket because I just felt within my heart St. Lucia did not have a supermarket. I told several business people on the island while I lived in Puerto Rico. They came to my flat in Puerto Rico. I encouraged them over 25, 30 years before I came, put a supermarket. They didn't listen. All right. We started a supermarket, which became successful. We had almost, in St. Lucia alone, 12 supermarkets. Ralph Gonzalez asked me to personally come to St. Vincent and assist him. And we took over 3 supermarkets in St. Vincent that were dying. We revived it. We spent over $15 million in St. Vincent, okay, to upgrade and to show them what a supermarket.
Yes.
Barbados is next door. Barbados didn't go in, okay. We, a small island, went in, okay. Now, here's what happened. I understand, I heard it from Rick Wayne actually. I was not even aware of it. He says, Mr. Chasney, do you know why Blue Coral was born? I said, well, I take it as an investment. He said, yeah, but do you know what was part of them? What propelled them to go into business? The idea was that they would build the NIC, listen to that carefully, will create the ground floor of Blue Coral to put a supermarket to neutralize Michael Chasney.
Whoa.
Can you imagine that?
Really?
To neutralize Super J's, that we were getting too powerful. Okay? When you do things for the wrong reason,
Yes, it doesn't work.
look what
It
happens.
falls.
Okay?
Falls.
A disaster.
A disaster.
Let me tell you something. That building could have been taken over. As a matter of fact, only yesterday, Harold Bosukai, and I have it on my phone, sent me a drawing, a design, which he had put, and they did not accept him. They took someone else to do it, of what he'd done. This could have created, that in the heart of the city, they could have created some beautiful offices, nicely done, what Harold Bosukai wanted to do. Not what they went and did there. Okay? Do you know,
They gave it to a
Champagne,
Trinidad firm.
up to now, it shows the level of thinking, backward thinking, that they went and they put on the very top floor a cinema.
Yes.
And
That didn't work.
endless money has been spent with all big concrete, never been used.
Never opened.
That's NIC money.
know, no,
The same NIC money that they were complaining about of Cabot, thrown away.
And that's during the time of Emma Hippolyte.
That's right. She was. Now, I'll tell you something, Champagne. You have, for instance, what is going on down at the Blue Coral there, okay? Philip Pierre sees all of that, still has not understood that when people go into business, there's a level of expertise that's required to. It's, as I told you at my last meeting, it's not a piece of land that makes business, you know. It's the man behind it. The Raffles property sat there for years.
Yes. Almost
Philip
15
Pierre
years.
was deputy prime minister, an advisor to the Dr. Anthony. Why didn't he buy the land then and do what he wanted to do? Now that the land is blossoming, okay? Because what? That is Cabot's business. How many times have you heard, oh, they pay the CEOs CEOs in America too much money, when you see them getting $3, $4, $5 million a year? And America continues it. Why? These are people with a vision and knowledge, who have a whole vision of what's going to happen. And they do those things.
But you had a constant changes with the SLP all the time in regards to Cabot, the constant changes.
Yeah.
One time they say, well, oh, we shouldn't sell. Another time they say we should sell.
Correct.
Now it's on NIC should have purchased the property.
But you see, Champagne, is exactly what Sir Michael is saying. There's no clear vision.
No.
That's right.
And there's something else. There's something else. In the human mind, you have to come clean. And again, this is not a religious statement, don't get me wrong. You have to come clean before ideas that are pure and noble and elevating could enter your mind. If your mind is involved
Jumbled.
in dirtiness and nastiness, trying to bring people down, like trying to have a supermarket just because you want to compete with another man to bring him down. This is not a good reason to have a supermarket.
Correct.
It's not. So all of this filth, all of this dirt, all of this nastiness must first leave your mind before God and the Holy Spirit of Jesus Christ could penetrate your mind and give you the vision that would send you forward.
Would you know?
Before you go, let me just say a little, just to elaborate a little bit on what Peter just said. Every business that I have gone into, I didn't just go into a business, you know. I visualized what it's going to be. I give you when I built Gablewoods Mall, you know how many people came and said to me, "You're building on a swamp. You're doing this." You know, Sam, you see all what you see today, I visualized it.
Before.
Okay?
Yeah,
I saw
wow.
it.
That's great.
You have a supermarket, people need to go in. This St. Lucia is not a banana republic. It is not a third world country. We have to elevate our country. And this is exactly what the Prime Minister, Alan Shah, is doing
he's
today.
doing, that's right.
You know, certain individuals who did certain little stalls in Castries, that's the past.
That's small stuff.
Let me tell you
Small
something. Look
stuff.
at what has been done at T Village. 63 people. I went there yesterday, and I
yeah.
will be showing the pictures.
Turning out beautiful.
Everybody has a unit. They have electricity. They have water. And as I think Peter or somebody said, or I think Norbert said this morning, when things get back and you have a jazz festival, can you imagine
yes.
what these people are going to do?
Oh,
out
yes.
there, right?
People coming up the
You-
jazz
you-
festival. That's they will be
Nobody
stopping
thought
there.
over the last 25 years of finding a home for these poor people.
No.
Yet they say this is the government that does not care.
Ah,
It's not a
We
caring
know
government.
who's the day.
But Sir Michael
Yeah.
and Champagne,
Sure.
again, you go back and try to understand why the Labour Party is saying that.
Yeah.
Instead of educating the people,
Correct.
to explain the vision to them, which because the Labour Party does not have it,
They don't
No, they don't.
unfortunately.
They don't.
And the people themselves now become a little reticent, they become a little afraid, they are frightened. Bon
And
Dieu,
they start to believe.
bon Dieu, est-ce que ça fait un l'argent
Correct.
là?
That's
Yeah.
right.
Because that is beyond me.
So they're
Ça,
questioning
c'est pas-
themselves.
Ça, c'est pas les gens qui parlent anglais.
Yeah.
C'est pas les gens qui servent cravate.
Yeah.
Moi-même, pas qu'ils savent rien là.
Yeah, yeah.
Instead of those whom they look up to, tell them, listen, we will have to up our game. you can't come back or with a little jersey on you with something, right?
You know,
this is what they have to be telling their people. But you know, last thing quickly, Champagne, if the example is shown by what the Prime Minister and his government visualizes as the new vision, and Grozile Village is a new example.
Yeah. Champagne wants to say something,
No,
but
sir.
I want both of you to remind me about, when we finish, I want to tell you about Marquis Estate. Go ahead, Champagne.
Brother Peter, you just brought up an interesting line there. You know, the Labour Party has never brought out empowerment to anyone.
But that's
They
the
have
point.
never empowered the people because they have constantly preached the Malaway syndrome,
A handout.
the handout, so they have never seen the need to empower anybody.
Because you see, the people they treat like yard fowls.
That's right.
Whereas if you have vision, you give them wings
Yeah.
to soar like an eagle.
That's right.
When you're an eagle, like the pictures that Norbert
Right.
showed last night, that's the first time I was seeing this aerial photographs, man. The place looks
Beautiful.
good. It looks
Beautiful.
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 But this is the vision we have to show people, and the Prime Minister haven't even started working yet. I want to see. I want to see my airport and my hospital
Yes,
finished.
and I want to take it to Castries East, where the Mr. JPA has represented this constituency for the last 25 years.
Yeah.
When this man came in, and Brother Peter knows it, when he came in 97, he found Marsha as a thriving area with commerce,
This is
restaurants.
too sad. You
But
know, I
listen to
lived
this.
at Marsha
This
for
is
about
why I
30
keep saying
years.
these guys that don't know how to empower people. Restaurants, Sir Michael, guest houses, bakeries,
I remember Brampton
grocery
Bakery.
shops,
Yeah.
bars. And in 25 years later, this place is dead.
Champagne, you know a place called, is it a hill?
Arundel Hill.
Arundel.
Arundel
you
Hill.
know, do you know Arundel? You probably don't
I don't know
it.
Arundel.
Arundel used to work at Mefford and Chasney.
Oh, okay.
He was a personal friend of my father.
Oh, wow.
And every Sunday,
He
my
was from
father
St.
used to
Kitts?
take me up there to go and see Mr.
He was
Arundel.
from St. Kitts or Nevis, Arundel.
No, he in St.
Yes,
Lucia.
in St.
Yeah,
Lucia.
he worked at MNC.
Now, you're giving me a history. Me, as a resident of this area, didn't even know. I didn't even know I did not know there was a gentleman called Arundel.
I know him personally.
Okay?
I heard about
He's
it.
a very good friend of my father.
And the place
he
was named
worked
after
at
him.
Mefford and Chasney with my father.
Okay.
Yeah,
All
and
right.
my father used to take me up there at least twice a month
He was something
to
to
walk up
Eldon
Arundel
Matron, I
Hill.
Uh-huh.
Eh?
He was something to Eldon Matron, I think.
I don't know.
Yeah.
Could be.
So this is what I'm saying. These people are not interested in empowering anyone in St. Lucia. Look at what this man, look at Viewport South.
Yeah.
What has the former Prime Minister put in there to empower anyone? And I've said it before, no young person could go into Viewport South and identify an area where they have worked or benefited from the investment of this man. You see? Anyway, Sir Michael,
Yeah.
you want to go to your preamble because
Yeah.
if we stay on this path, we're not going to get out of there.
Well, I was very disappointed last night, as I said, with Philip Pierre, with that statement he made about
The cupboard.
Yeah.
We're going to stay on that a little more. You know.
Here's what I'm going to say to you, okay? By the same token, he said that government should have bought the land. I'm going to ask one question. When the 60 acres of land was available, when smugglers collapsed, it was there in shambles. Didn't they allow the Royalton to come in,
Yeah.
demolish everything and flatten it?
Everything.
Tell you something, even though it was done under the Labour Party, I commend them for
Yes,
that.
we did. Yes, we
because
did.
when you figure what was there, and the people put some 500 rooms,
Yes.
and you have almost 1,000 people working, okay? And then, where would that money come from? Would NIC or anybody have any money to go and do a thing like that? Let me tell you something. Trust what I tell you, Champagne. If NIC had just touched that Cabot land, 40% of our pensions money would be gone
I
and
believe
lost.
that is true.
And lost.
That may be one of the reasons why the NIC, there's no viability in that.
Yeah, let me tell you something. I heard it on the news, but I have to check it out. I don't want to repeat what's incorrect. Someone called 3 days ago, and they said, besides the loss of blue coral, that they, NIC, under the Labour Party and the individual that was there, made a huge investment in bonds in New York and lost a ton of money.
In New York. In
Yeah,
New York.
Yeah, on the stock market, okay?
You know-
Again, who advised these people to do it?
I was about to ask that question.
You know, on the NIC board, so far, since this government has been, I don't follow the board, They have been very careful. Look at the money they made on Cabot, okay? I can't see anybody there, unless they were overwritten by somebody, that would make an investment like that away without qualified people advising them. And you're taking money from St. Lucia to send to New York and lose a ton of money. And whereas the investment that was made in St. Lucia, if anything happened, NIC would have the same land that Philippa talks about.
You know, it would be interesting, Brother Peter, to find out who was behind the investment of the Blue Coral. Was it the NIC by themselves?
Or the government.
Or the government. It would be very interesting to find out who was pushing for that kind of
But
investment.
last night I heard.
You heard what Philippa said?
Yes,
Yeah.
I heard
About
part of,
the
and you know
finance.
what? You know what came to my mind?
Oh.
A typical accountant using book value and book entries.
Yeah.
You could see this is not a guy who has done the investment, has experience of it, you know. But you enter a figure in a book as an accountant, and you probably give that to somebody who would not know better, and the thing does not have the value that is in the book. But accountants are very good at doing that, you know.
Brother Peter, you and I both know Castries East Marcia in particular. You live there. I live there. I am still a resident.
I don't like to speak about Marcia.
No.
It hurts too much.
No, listen.
It hurts too much.
I'm trying to make a point here. Here's a guy that's going to give all the advices today about Cabot, about this one, about how much money was supposed to be spent, who was supposed to about what. But he had a constituency that was thriving. A constituency that was thriving, Sir Michael. I could tell you on both sides of the Main Street Marshall was businesses. There was minor residential area there. One or two people lived there.
Yeah.
Everything from Bishop's Gap all the way down to the chaussee was business. This man couldn't help anyone to keep them.
Look like that is hurting you as much as it hurts me.
It kills me every day. And I'll tell you one of the reasons why it kills me, because my mom was a business person, not in a huge scale. My mom sold peanuts and sweets at the time. I didn't know it because my mom died when I was 2 years old. People said it to me. This is where my mom sold. Right up across Burnford in a little shop there. Before a little shop there, and a little tree. She had 4 boys. All of her 4 boys were there with her. So when you're talking about 57 years later, that same sidewalk, Sir Michael, and this is what
She had a
hurts.
shop at the corner.
No, she didn't have a shop. She sold in a tray in front of a shop on the
okay.
sidewalk. 57 years later, Sir Michael,
Yeah.
that same sidewalk has never been upgraded. The same sidewalk.
Champagne, let me tell you something.
Come on.
I knew it before,
Yesterday,
before it was a
as I
sidewalk.
told you, I play with the channels and to pick up little bits of information here and there.
Yeah.
I was scanning my TV and I watched Christopher Hunt yesterday. I know some people say to me,
So, Michael, you have a lot of courage.
yeah, I know all of you all say you have a lot of courage. I don't, let me tell you something. I'm 85 years of age,
Yeah.
but I still have a relatively good mind.
Right.
I can slip through those things, and in seconds, I know where they're coming from.
Okay.
What did I see? All the pictures we show here, he had better pictures than I've ever shown of all what government is doing in St. Lucia. They have a video of a
This,
car.
this government.
Yeah. No, the Labour government, Labour pies, took a car with a camera and they drove through all the roads up north. Okay?
That's what I'm saying, which this government is building.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And showed you all what is going on. And you see the nonsense and the lack of common sense that these people have. How many times we have heard people in St. Lucia say, we have to learn to feed ourselves. Haven't you heard it?
Of
We
course.
must feed
You must
ourselves.
feed yourself.
Okay? What has this government done? The government learned, myself and Peter Josie discussed it last week. He highlighted to St. Lucia all the things that were done in the Roseau when the locals took over the banana area. Geese was getting 8 tons an acre. Peter says he would know better than me.
25 to 30
They were getting
tons hourly.
25 tons when they became personally owned.
Yeah.
Marquee Estate, 600 acres, lying idle. And people have been squatting for a time to do a little planting here and there. They have to hide at night because it's not their land. What did this government see? They saw the potential of Marquee Estate. They put in their roads, and this is what the Labour guys were showing. oh, look at all those roads going to nowhere.
Can you believe
Now,
that, Sir Michael?
and you see, now here you are. If you go and you pave a road, say in Rodney Bay, or you're paving it for the bourgeois, what has this government done? Put roads into areas to help the poor people. As the Minister for Tourism was stated a couple weeks ago, it hurt his heart when you see people leaving Answer Canaries area, wherever it is, and having to have 2 pairs of shoes, one to walk through the mud, and then when reach the bottom, wash their feet and put on. In 2021, this government has taken the decision that has to stop. Hence the reason why they have spent so much money on the roads inside all these areas. Now let me say something to you, Champion, just before. The plan is that Marquis Estate is being taken over by government. It will be subdivided. Champion, if you have 600 acres of land, I'm just saying, and you give each person, I'm just saying 10 acres,
yes.
okay? That's like 600 farmers, okay? If, on the other hand, you want to give them 5 acres, that's 1,200 people. Can you even imagine, if I use Peter Josie's theory and philosophy, that you hand that land over to people who the land can become their own, and they start planting and nobody overlooking their shoulders to chase them away at night and say you have no right there, and plus give them good roads. From Marquis Estate to the market in Castries, when those roads are finished, you're talking 25 minutes.
But Sir Michael, here's the thing.
Let me just say something, Mr. Michael, quickly to
Go
add
ahead.
to your listeners' education. And I'm using the word education deliberately. If each farmer is given 5 acres,
Yes.
and they grow vegetables and fresh flowers under hydroponics conditions.
Correct.
In other words, greenhouses.
Greenhouses,
Yes.
yeah.
So that they can control the weather, the rainfall, and
Yeah.
everything within. They will make millions within 10 years.
Correct.
No, that's right.
Thousands if you don't like millions.
Without cutting you short, you remember the guy on the highway who said, oh, give me land to put my cows.
Yes.
And give him a section. right?
Exactly.
No, but here's the important thing.
Yeah.
And when the Labour Party said roads leading to nowhere, I went to Marquis Estate myself one
You went
Sunday
where to?
the Marquis Estate.
Oh, recently?
About a month ago.
Okay.
And I drove the road
Yes.
all the way in. And what I saw on a Sunday, farmers are able to park their vehicles on the side of the road.
Yes.
Something that could not have happened before.
Correct.
They are able to drive in there
And put their stuff in.
And put their stuff in unbruised. When this road is finished, every single farmer up there will have their produce being transported in a normal,
Correct.
comfortable way.
Correct.
But the Labour Party doesn't see it this way. They want a road that leads to maybe a hotel. This government is putting down hotels, but they're also seeing about the farmers.
Correct.
And they're making the provisions for the farmers to have their produce being transported in a proper way.
Well, as you say that, Champagne,
My
people
goodness.
don't have to listen to what yourself, Sir Michael, and myself are saying. If there are any journalists in St. Lucia,
Correct.
If
they
they're
should go and,
Go out there.
up there
You-
and ask
But the Labour Party did it
ask
yesterday.
the people questions.
Yeah, they did it.
Yeah?
Let me tell you something. I should get a tape for you.
Yeah.
To see the beautiful job. They followed the whole road. Amazing. Better
Yeah.
than what we do on TV.
Yeah.
And all they could have come up with is the road leads to nowhere. That's all they could have come up with.
Yeah.
A road leading to nowhere.
Yeah.
But they never paid any attention to the dozens of farmers that are
Within
using
the
road.
area.
But excuse me, is there ever a road that leads to nowhere when you think about it?
Yeah.
Is there ever a road that leads to
On a small
nowhere?
island.
Yeah,
like
because
that.
somewhere is always
Yeah, a
somewhere.
little 2x4. Is there ever a road that leads to nowhere?
Because somewhere is always
The
somewhere.
most stupid person.
I
if
tell
they
you
have to
something,
build a
what we're
road, they
not
build it to their
realizing,
homes.
Champagne, is that the government has, and even Kenny Anthony had thought about it, taken a road from Denry to bring up to Beau-Saint-Jean.
Yeah.
All that would be connected, okay? And these are productive areas. You're opening up lands.
You know what the Honorable Guy Joseph did on, I think it was last weekend?
I saw.
They got together with a group of farmers and they went into, constructed a road in a place called Gambois.
Yeah.
The farmers came in as self-help. He probably put in a little something maybe
Yeah.
for food and drinks. And the guys brought that road all the way in. The farmers, the same roads that these SLP people are talking about, leading to nowhere. So what that tells you, Brother Peter, is the Labour Party are not interested in the farmers. That's the simplest way to put it.
But you see, I'm interested in the phrase leads to nowhere.
Yeah.
I think you should be honest and say, but I don't see where it's going to. I cannot visualize what the designers have in mind.
Right.
But if you're intelligent, you can't say it leads to
It
nowhere.
leads to nowhere,
Because,
that's right.
oh, I see Sir Michael building something there. He has a lot of road, he has a road. But Sir Michael will not build a road going to nowhere. But I don't know what he has in his mind.
Yes.
But when he explains to me, I will not say the road is not going to nowhere.
This
But
guy's-
let me give you a little of my history. In all the leadership struggle, when things broke down, George and I went our separate ways.
Yeah.
Facts and da. I went to Libya with Joe Cox
Yes.
because Snack Winston was prime minister.
Right.
He made me minister of tourism, foreign affairs, etc. And I brought a design of a bypass road from Castries, bypassing Castries to
Yes.
Babuno,
Yes.
to the valley, right? So in my writing now, I said, you know something? This is what I did. But the idea that this government has is even better. Taking it from higher up, closer to Grosile, and making it get to Dennery. So I've written that.
Bypass Castries.
Bypass
Yes,
Castries
on the
completely.
backside.
So I've written that for as part of my legacy.
Right.
I'm going to say that I was part of the discussion.
I hope the farmers are listening to these statements made by these Labour Party operators, because all they are saying to the farmers that we will not take care of you with regarding your road. So, Michael, let's go through
But
the...
that's a point you should
Champagne,
repeat. Eh?
Yes, yes.
You probably better at me than that. Here's what you need to do when the show is finished.
Yeah.
Go to channel 124 and you get a copy. I think you should do it, and we should need to, because what they did is better than what we did here.
Oh,
They
boy.
showed the whole road with a car and a camera.
So we should give them,
all
we
the
should,
road-
so we should give them the bell then.
Yes, we should give them the bell.
We should give them
I
the
want
bell.
to thank Christopher Hunt
Yes,
for what he did.
yes.
Marvelous.
Yeah, we should give him the bell.
Yeah.
Yes. So you see, we don't hate you here, Mr. Hunt.
Yeah.
Let us go into the curfew with
Yes.
on the Voice newspaper,
Right.
because we have heard so much, and a lot of people. I don't understand what is happening to our people. So, Michael, I don't know if it's that same
You know,
people
talking
are not
about curfew,
concerned.
without you, I got a call on Sunday, this Sunday, from one of my security guys. Said, Mr. Shastri, he sent me, if you see what is happening on Sandy Beach.
Oh, yes, I have a
there are
video
over
on that.
80, 90 people there.
Yes.
Music and everything.
I have a video on that.
I have a video. You
Of
see, so
course,
I'm not
on
lying.
Sunday. Oh,
and
don't-
I think that the police came in and had to stop it. He also told me there's a place, I think it's in the Labrie area, I'm not sure, where they go for a river lime or something like that. A
Yes,
place
in
called-
Labrie as well.
It's called Pell. You ever-
That's right. There's
Yeah.
yes,
I
there was a
don't know.
big-
Where is Pell?
That's somewhere in Labrie, in the Labrie area.
He said, watch out for Easter.
Yeah, yeah.
Watch out for Easter.
Yeah, yeah.
These people are going to go there, hundreds. Yeah.
So here's the times we have there, starting off tomorrow. It says tomorrow from 7, the curfew times will be 7 p.m. to 4 a.m. as normal. Friday, Good Friday, will be the same, 7 p.m. to 4 a.m. Saturday, it was going to change by an hour, from 6 p.m. to 4 a.m. But here's where all the talk is about. Sunday, which is Easter Sunday, 3 p.m. to 4 a.m. On an Easter holiday, 3 p.m. to 4 a.m. 2 days. Last year, Brother Peter, in the midst of the coronavirus, we were in a worse condition. We were in lockdown for 24 hours.
But listen, Champagne. My take on this thing, I understand what you just said. My take on this thing, and again, taking myself and how I was raised as a little fella, right? When you go into Lent, 40 days of Lent, the Muslims I discovered much later also have their kind of thing, right? The Jews have this. When you go into fasting for Lent, you give up something, either alcohol, cigarette, or something. You eat in moderation.
Do they still do that?
That's
but
what
the
I was
church
about
asks
to ask.
you. The church asks you. Then when you pass 60 or 65, they kind of ease up on you, right? The point I'm trying to make is, people in my generation, as teenagers and later on, you made the sacrifice.
Yeah.
So there was something to celebrate when Easter came around.
That is right. That is
You
right.
had to let go, free up yourself. Boy, 40 days I have a drink. I'm going to have some.
It's true.
But these guys today, every day they're drinking. Every day they're in a fete. Every day there's something. Even COVID not stopping them. So what is the big deal about having to go on a river lime Easter when the COVID is still, the pandemic is still with us. What is the point? What are you trying to prove? Is it because you are more stupid and dumb than everybody else? Or is it because of you have too much English blood in you don't understand the patois? Or too much French and you don't understand the English?
Brother Peter, I'm going to ring the bell for you. I'm going to ring the bell for you for one word you use, and that word is stupid. I don't often use that word on this program because I don't call people stupid.
No, I'm asking, because you are stupid.
I'm not blaming you. As a matter of fact, I'm even applauding you for using the word, because we just heard and see what is going on in Martinique, and this was as a result of the carnival that they had in February, with all those people in one place. So now they have a surge. We saw it in Italy. We are seeing it in France.
And there will be other opportunities for you to celebrate, celebrate.
Why can't we not stay away from the beaches for 2 days?
Correct.
What is wrong with that? Last year, we stayed away for 24 hours every single day.
And they saw what they did at Christmas and what it cost us. Hundreds of people.
We saw what happened from that march.
And as Norbert was saying, they get sick and they want to go to the Victoria and complain about Victoria when they shouldn't have been there at all.
And asking the doctors if they'll die.
If they're going to die. If they're going to die.
But did you listen to that tape that Norbert had of the St. Lucian in London?
Oh, yes, I have that on my phone. I'm going to send it to you.
That needs to be played over and over.
Yes, I do have it.
Let people understand what is going on, what this guy went through.
Now,
and the guy said, even in London, the amount of young people that died, he cried
because of partying. Because of partying.
Yeah.
And you know, Sir Michael, we know our people. Maybe me would know better than you or yourself and Brother Peter, because I see them. I don't participate, but I see them when I drive around. You're not talking 20 people, you know, on those beaches. You're talking hundreds of people.
Yeah.
Both men and women, male and female, will get together dancing. You don't dance at a distance. They're not going to dance 6 feet apart. They will hold each other in the back, hold each other in the front, and this is what the corona loves. This is what it loves. The Prime Minister, the CMO, whoever made they gave the instructions to shut those for that curfew time. For me, it is perfect.
Yeah.
Based on what we have seen in Martinique.
Barbados is doing the same thing.
Do you think that we should have, and I spoke about this here yesterday, a gentleman called in and we had a conversation on that on my show yesterday, about closing the various beaches. What do you think? Because it's done in Florida, it's been done in certain Caribbean islands, where the beaches are closed off, and you have no access.
Hilaire suggested that.
Hilaire said it
maybe that's
last
something
night.
that should be done. So,
but somebody told me yesterday, with all what's going on, go up to Pidgeot weekends. He said it's unbelievable the number of people there. But I personally think that you should station a group, knowing that, especially, to stop it, because that's going to cause big problems for us.
So Michael,
problems that we cannot afford, because there's a cost attached to all of that.
Of course.
When people get sick, go to the hospital, all these tests, and the medication, you know.
And the poor nurses.
And putting the poor nurses
under stress.
And the doctors the nurses who are really working so hard, and because you're doing nonsense, you have to go and spend hours at night to take care of you.
They were nowhere close to you having your fun at Pigeon Island.
Yeah.
The nurses and doctors were nowhere close. But now, you're sick.
Yeah.
It is their jobs. Yes, it is their jobs.
And screaming all like Mokamo.
But that, yes. What they say? Mokamo.
Sometimes I wonder what they're trying to prove. You know, I just look at these people and shake my head.
And we're not here saying people should not have fun, but people need to understand that there's a pandemic.
And there's a time for everything in life.
There's going to be a time for partying on the beaches. We will get back to the various beaches at Easter.
Yeah.
But
and it's not that far off.
No.
But you know, I think sometimes when I look at it, it's a big pretense, you know. Why are you pretending you like more fat than me? I'm not there. You are there. So in other words, you like the Bontemps. You don't know anything about Bontemps.
No, you have had your time. You have a time. We want to get back into Cabot, Sir Michael, because I heard the former Prime Minister, Dr. Anthony, making a statement, and he was kind of bragging or boasting that it had not been for them putting pressure that Cabot would not come under so much pressure that they would have been forced to pay the loan with the 2-point-something million.
You know what he forgot to say? He forgot to say that because they use the National Trust as a spin.
Opinion that with all this controversy, the Cabot people said, hey, wait a minute, let us get rid of this thing so we could keep it. How much money, the loan was for what, 10 years, 16 years?
I think 10 years,
Was there more money to be made outside the 2.2 million if they had gone through the entire 10 years?
Definitely.
Okay.
Because
everybody
the kind
knows
of interest
that.
they were getting a good interest rate. And they had solid security.
Okay.
Solid security.
Well,
But-
I'll tell you something,
Sure.
Sir Michael. And forgive me.
yeah.
Rick Wayne described Dr. Kenny Anthony in his book, in Rick Wayne's book, Lapses and Infelicities.
Yeah.
And if you read the background of this guy, you will be very doubtful that he could ever have risen to be a positive influence or leader of St. Lucia. He can't. He doesn't have it. He can have 10 degrees in law, sociology, whatever you can think of. He does not have the empathy. He doesn't have it. For you to be a good ruler of people who are emerging from colonialism, from the backwardness of slavery, from poverty, you have to have a special love within your heart for these people to be able to raise them from poverty. You must. But if you have learned to lie because you're a lawyer and you can twist the truth and to use carbot and things, so it's a disgrace. This is not a person that should ever have been a leader of this country. But, you know, people make mistakes, countries make mistakes, let's move on. Legitimacy, that is the word I'm looking for. No legitimacy to talk about anything concerning the development of St. Lucia. None whatsoever. Up to now, we can't use our seabed.
No.
Up to now, we don't know about the Rochamel and Fenwell and how much money that was spent.
I'm
Up
up
to
to
now, the lands they wanted to sell from Miku
Yes.
going down there.
Yes.
Thousands of acres of
Thousands,
land.
yes.
Luckily, the elections come and they didn't have
Oh,
time
yeah.
to do that.
Champagne,
Oh,
what's your time
we
now?
would be in a mess. It is 8 after 10, after 11.
I need to show the pictures.
Oh, you wanted to show?
Yeah, because-
Okay, our camera crew, but we have so much to discuss, but the time has flown right by us.
It's,
Yeah.
you,
No, we could show
Let's
it.
do it. And we
The
can,
picture,
because-
a picture is worth 1,000
A
words.
thousand.
And the thing is this, there are things that Peter would want to discuss after I show those pictures.
Oh, beautiful.
Yeah.
All right, camera crew, if you are listening, would like to show the pictures that Sir Michael gave to you.
I think he
Yes.
has that.
They on it now?
Yeah.
Okay, so I think we on it.
Yeah,
What are those?
You know
Those.
where that is.
This looks like a development up in the
Yeah.
Laffey area.
Ask him to let that one pass.
Okay, so let this go by, camera crew.
That looks like one of the houses built right on the roads at Retreat.
Yes,
Yeah.
come.
Yeah, that's so Michael is going to narrate some of the footage. St. Lucia, it is 10 minutes after the hour of 11 o'clock, and we are here with our program every Wednesday, as we always do, with two honorable men, Sir Michael Chastney and the Honorable Peter Josie, as always. So
Yes, technician, we can just skip those properties for a while. We'll come back to that at a later date.
Okay, so they're not quite ready. Okay, so camera crew, we are just waiting for you to put those photographs up on the screen so Sir Michael could talk about them a little bit. Now, I don't know if you're an economist. I'm not an economist, but I know you would know numbers. When you have a former prime minister bragging and making the St. Lucian public believe that he was the one wiping out that loan, but in the process, we lost at least 16 million? I'm hearing 16 million was lost because the loan had been paid off. What do you say to a leader like that?
But you see, that is why I mentioned
Yeah.
about the journalist.
Yes.
A journalist should go and now ask him, are you saying, sir, that the 16 or 17 million that was lost is because of the pressure you put on Carbot that caused them to pay early, and that we have lost that money, the people of St. Lucia, those who are insured
All right,
and
St. Lucia.
and those who
Okay.
are not.
We're
hold
now
on.
watching what the current prime minister, current administration have just accomplished. When the Labour Party and others talk that that's not a caring government, all those individuals were moving from place to place. Remember, they were on the side of the road selling coconut water. Then they went down by the old Dyer Mall, pushing them around. What did this government? They saw the whole picture differently. And they created this wonderful, wonderful setting for 63 vendors who now have a home, they have electricity, they have water, they have toilets. And in the next couple months, when that thing takes shape, as somebody said, when, for instance, the Jazz Festival returns, can you imagine the kind of
Business.
business they will get. Also, in the center, you'll see a lovely hut, which I'll ask the technician to show us, all for the coconut vendors who will not have to stay in the sun. You see that just behind that green place with the little peaks there? All that will be coconut vendors inside there to do their business. And this is an additional area that's coming up again for more vendors, all beautifully done on a very, very prominent highway. So I say to St. Lucia, please look around and think for yourself what this government is doing. A government that cares, that cares. I mean, a stone throw away from the Grocery Friday night. Can you imagine people on their way to Grocery before they go can pass there, have a snack, have a drink, or whatever the case may be, and afterwards, when these people usually had to pack up by 5 o'clock, they can stay there till 2, 3 in the morning,
They can stay all day.
and earn a good living. Thank you so much, technician. Let's move along. Look at that, how wonderful that is. Look at how beautiful, all the drains. Okay, now,
We're
coming up now to the cul-de-sac construction. I visited there last Friday, and St. Lucia, let me tell you, the contractors on that job are incredible, incredible people. This project is moving at a pace, So if we slide across, I'll elaborate what is going on there. This is all the construction, the changes that are taking place, all the earth that has been moved, all the fantastic equipment, most modern equipment. Let's move